Hello, hello. Josie here for another tarot contemplation with the Major Arcana as we move through the deck. May I ask, dear Spirit Council, most ancestors beloved, what do you wish to share with us today? To consider. They're excited to speak today. Interesting. And how I opened the card actually, like it showed up reversed. So like when I first saw it, I was like, oh, who's this? And I'm like, oh, right. It shows up like this. The Hanged Man. As you all know, there is always so much information to be shared with Major Arcana. So please note that the message that is shared today is a package of something that we can chew on that is most relevant, most pertinent for now. And now meaning that it might be like today, the day that I record this, or the now of whenever you access this message. That is very clear to kind of like clarify and share right off the bat. What we see in this card is it someone relaxing upside down? Is it someone patiently waiting, patiently playing, for they feel like they are the most enlightened one? The one that knows so much and they're almost waiting for almost like the timing to be correct for them to step off the branch and to step into their walk. There's something about this that's coming up of contemplating what you understand around patience and what we understand. I'm just feeling this card, so I'm going to take a moment to also like not just look at it on the screen, but to look at it here as I channel this message. These bows and structure that the person hangs on are sturdy, and on the time, like the time that they have been hanging on these branches, things have grown. So there is something also in understanding that not all action, this is a very interesting thing, so let me see if I can articulate it well. Not all, like the activity of growth, right? Not all growth occurs when we are active, when we are actively like pursuing, persevering, like doing all the things. You know, running around and moving. They're showing like moving objects, moving the obstacles out of the way, clearing the paths. This almost like reminds me of like those types of like trail breakers, right? Of like that they come into what might feel like an untouched ground and they clear the path and break the ground and create new things. And this card is showcasing to us, well, that is not the only way to access growth and creation. There is actually something very special that is being wished to kind of like be showcased in the vines and the actual growth that are on these boughs, and how that there is this even like recline. And I kind of like it because it's like they're kind of like in that yoga tree pose, right? But even if you see in their arm stance, right, there's like a reclining, there's a relaxing into the support that they feel behind them. And even though they might feel that this is a time of waiting, a time of kind of like deciding, a time to become decisive on what might be the next steps once the growth and once almost like the bow breaks. There's something of kind of going that they're so secure in this kind of comforting way of just waiting for things to grow, waiting for things to be fruitful, waiting for things to articulate, waiting for things to, continue on. And they're just like, I know so much that I'm just going to wait. And I get so sturdy and comfortable in this position that it actually is almost like, what then do you have to wait to break? What do you have to wait for, the weight or the bow to break in order to kind of like for you to stumble back onto the ground, for you to stumble back into what we feel is that like steady walk that us humans must do. This is a very interesting message. I wouldn't have thought it to come with this card. So bear with me. My mind is like trying to comprehend why. Why are we sharing this message? Why are we sharing this message of the Hanged Man? The Hanged Man shares that there is almost like fissures or divides in humanity that depends on kind of like how the enlightened ones and the ones that might feel like their light is dim. And so there's this showcasing to me of these like, that it's almost as if the ones that are like working, almost like the minions, right? Like the ones that are just keep on trudging and drudging through the actions and activities of what has been described as the human existence, or of humanity, of society, of what we're meant to do, of what we're meant to do to succeed, of what we are meant to do to ensure that we have success. All of these things, all of these teachings, it's as if this human person that is hanging, there's like that they have this certain understanding that is not accessible to those minions. And so then they feel the capacity to just literally hang upside down, to take a moment to go, I understand that there is something upside down in even like of what is right side round. So it's like going, what you normally see in the activities around you, you feel that there's something just like a little off, like that's upside down. I'm seeing right side up. So I'm now just going to actually flip myself upside down and allow the things to grow, understanding the teachings of patience, understanding the teachings of taking time, and knowing that not all things just grow, like the actual productivity, the production of things, not all things just require like hours upon hours upon hours upon years of effort. There's this, even almost like this awareness of that sometimes people might feel that like there's this effort required that they must do in order to succeed. Or even like this effort required, and then even this fear that maybe like then they're rhyming right now as we play, but like that they might be fired, like that there's this like the fear of that, the loss of success, the fear of the uncertainty of like, how can we hold onto what we have grown? How can we like keep what we have sown? How can we maintain that regular success, the abundance, the stuff that all of our efforts have brought forth to us? And so instead of then participating in the activities that might be like around, right? Instead of participating in those activities, they take space, they sit upside down, they relax, they wait, and they're like, this is a way then that I can allow things to grow and to accumulate, because I just won't actually like share them out. There's almost something kind of like miserly in that's coming up in the energy, something that is, like trying to hoard, but not necessarily hoard. Sorry, I need to correct that. It's not that we're like hoarding the success or hoarding the things. It's just going like, I just won't act. I just won't like, it's kind of like the idea, like if you had this amount of money in your bank account right now, and you know that you have like certain amount of things that have to go out, And so you're just like, I just won't spend. I just won't do it. I just won't participate. There's something about like not choosing to participate in the continuous consumption, the continuous like money in, money out, effort in, effort out, like that type of cycle that we have seen has tired and like has tired out so many people. And we continue to do this cycle. There are like generations and time and time and time again, even when money changes, even when like the different levels of success are shared, the different like societal successes, the different societal acceptances, all of those things, all of what's like celebrated and adulated and adored about what you would feel I have done well in this life. And so there's this choice in this card of going, how about you choose not to participate in those cycles of exertion to the point of exhaustion, and to learn from potentially like the repetitive cycles that you may have seen. And this is, of course, this is a broad message. So I'm saying like you may have seen in humanity, but there's also then a very pointed message here going that you may have even seen in your own life cycles. Like, what have you learned? What have you done time and time and time again that has left you exhausted and burnt out and requiring rest and allowing more so just like nothing to grow, right? Like there's almost like empty space in that patient waiting. And there's something about going, how can you allow a gentler placement, a gentler way of moving through these cycles, even if you just slow that same pattern down a little, even if you just like, it's like do a subtle shift in that pattern, the subtlest shift. And then you kind of take a moment back from the awareness. You're like, I'm aware of these patterns. I'm aware of these things of effort in, effort out, right? Like that I've done before. And you can apply this to anything. They're like even beyond what I've been sharing of like success, right? Or like, and many people think of that as financial success, but it could be success in relationships. It could be success. Do you see what I mean? Success in anything that is coming up at this point in time. Take a moment and jot down, what are the patterns? How have I efforted? What have I done? What have I trudged through time and time and time again? And from that knowing, how can I do it a little different? How can I potentially slow down that pattern from reintegrating itself into my life, reaffirming itself into my life? And even if that might feel that you are kind of like reposed, that you are, even that sometimes people might feel like you're like just, yes, hanging upside down, like having like sloth, like laziness, and some shadows might arise around this. But there is this awareness and this prompt that if you are taking that pause is wondrous. That pause is coming from an enlightened awareness, an awareness of what you have time and time and time and time done again. And what you now can potentially alter just a little. And even if that is in the speed, in the pace, or in the exertion that you put towards this problem. And then allow almost like something from that repose, from that stepping back, to allow something else to grow, something else to showcase itself. And it's almost like then they're like, the growth will occur within this position, within this repose, in such a wondrous way that it gets so heavy, right? It gets so heavy that it actually then snaps. It then naturally, like, right, the growth gets heavy and says, okay, now you can step and move again in a assured footing, in a even gentler pace, in a different pace. This is like seeing how you walk. I'm almost feeling like that Monty Python, like finding your silly walk, right? Just doing something a little different. So may you review what comes up within this card today, potentially what patterns are like coming right up in your face from this message. Jot down some things, Be truthful, right? Be truthful, that light around. Let yourself kind of like really look at that and then honor that, okay, in that knowing, I now can rest. I now can take a pause and allow things to right themselves. Allow things to right themselves, because growth is occurring even in this, and it keeps coming, that word repose, okay? In this beautiful moment where you can actually feel the sturdiness and the stability of even just the bough behind you, that you're comforted in this moment. How can you comfort yourself in this position? And not to feel that that hanging, right, is like this hanging almost is self-inflicted, but also acknowledging that it may not even be a hanging itself. It's just like you're shifting the perspective so you can allow something else to right itself as well. It's like this shaking of, the sands of the hourglass, the just shaking a little things up, shifting the perspective completely of how you are accessing the same thing again and again and again. How can you do it differently? And don't fret and like strain and trying to figure out how, because there is something in this repose that will grow, and it will become heavy enough. And once then that kind of like snaps, you will get that boost to act once again and to potentially go, I can do it this way this time. And maybe something different will occur. Yay, welcome the difference. Welcome also the discomfort in this position. But there's some good work here. There's some good work here. This is a long message. I will see how I can cut it so that you can get the majority of it. And as always, you're welcome to book with me for some open reading or sessions with your most beloved ancestors. josieh.com. Thank you. Have a wondrous day. Take care.